Only what I wanted to say, you all are aware of that one, that this particular introduction of the assisted reproductive technologies started in the country from the year 2016 and onwards. Earlier we were focusing only on the AI, but nevertheless the Government of India took a lot of interest in introducing these newer technologies like sex-sorted semen, estrus synchronization, then embryo transfer, in vitro fertilization. And for 3 consecutive years, the mass awareness programs were conducted across the country to make the farmers aware about these technologies. And this morning when I was listening in the breeding session, I was very happy to know that all those initiatives are taking the positions in the field. And really it is an overwhelming response that is coming, but nevertheless it is not totally satisfactory. We need to take these reproductive technologies far intensively. So that's what in many platforms we used to tell that translation research is happening as of now, but not 100%, to at least 50% translation research is happening in the country. That itself is quite satisfactory, and from that we will be able to boost up the production. So with these few opening words, without taking much of your time, I would like to invite Dr. Ghuman Saab to present the report of this particular session. And I would like to thank my co-chair, Dr. Prakash Rar, to join me in this particular conducting this particular session. So Dr. Ghuman, please.
Over the last 1.5 months, we have done 6 brainstorming sessions on these 6 themes which are in this NAVS convocation. We invited experts and faculty, students, farmers, and we made certain recommendations from their sessions. So that report I will discuss with you, the points which we think in the reproduction are required. So let's start with the first one. You see the current status of bovine population. At this point, 536 million livestock population I have. Out of this, 303 they are the bovines, and rest you can see. Basically, the idea of this slide is if you see the number of animals, 303 million bovines we have, and if you see the production or the rise in the milk growth, it's not that much. Only about 9.69% rise is there. But the problem is that we can't increase the number of animals more. So we are already having too much load on our various sectors because of this high population. Other thing is, we are contributing about 23% to the global milk production. And if you see the number of livestock, that is almost again same. 20% of the world population. So with the same population, we are contributing the same amount of milk. So that is not a good idea. So this slide shows where we rank. If you see in case of buffalo milk production, 2,101 kilogram per animal per year. Even we are behind Pakistan. And in cattle milk yield, you see 1,880. And same way you can see the yield of the USA. So the thing is, we know these things from many years, but still nothing is being done. We are not able to take care of all these things. Production is high, total production, so that is because of the total high number of animals. But per animal yield is quite low. Another reason, if you see the reproduction, in reproduction major thing comes AI. The government started AI plans from 1960. A lot of work is being done how to achieve AI coverage. So if AI and genomic selection is not there, then all the reproduction problems will come. You can see this data from 212 to 13 up to 21, 22. Still the coverage is about 32%. And if you count the number of veterinary hospitals, 12,000, and dispensaries 26,000, and veterinary centers about 29,000. So all these, they are engaged in covering in doing this AI coverage. In 2022, about 78 million AIs were done. That is about 30% of the total breedable population. UP has the highest number of AI centers, but still the total AI coverage is 19%, is almost best among the various states at the good level. In case of Punjab, you can see only 3.5% of the AI centers of the country with 3.6 AI coverage. Now here is one issue. This data is from the government hospitals. In Punjab at least there are a number of centers, commercial farms, which the AI which have been done there, that is not included here. So that is an issue, we will discuss that later. So number of semen stations 56, only 49 out of that have A and B grade, and frozen semen banks 233. Keeping those ideas in mind, what we can do? One is the implementation of Veterinary Act. So why we are not succeeding over the years? Because we don't have any control on our breeds. We are not doing up to that level. A number of breeds in the non-risk category, they are increasing. So we suggest that a livestock breeding services authority should be formulated at the national level, which should work at the national level and should frame policies, quality of breeding services, and conserve and develop local genetic resources. And then standards should be made for each and everything, for the breeding of animals, standards for the AI technicians. So because of that, not the proper implementation of the Joint Breeding Act and the other policies, you can see the crossbreeding has led us to a lower level. If you see the data, at least in the yellow lines, in case of cattle, you see the non-descriptive population from 1213 to 2013 to 2019, population is 58 to 52%. So number of non-descript animals, they are not decreasing. Besides our efforts for the genomic selection and other things. In case of buffalo also, see the population of the non-descript. And the graded indigenous breeds. Ultimately, in the next generation, this graded indigenous breed will also go to the non-descript. So the time thing is that at this point, if you need to increase the milk productivity, we need to concentrate on decreasing how to decrease this non-descript population. If non-descript population will decrease, only then we will be able to do better facilities and a high level of production. So how can we do that? The major hindrance is availability of high genetic merit pools. AI coverage 32% behind besides all our efforts. Even in Himachal Pradesh is only 1%. In at least target should be, we should cover at least 70% of the breedable population. In 12 countries that target is up to even 95%. So if we see, considering our breedable population and the number of doses which can be made from the bull, we have seen the data from the VHS in the 54 semen stations. There are 2,456 high genetic merit pools. And if we need that coverage up to 70%, we need about 4,359 bulls. So at present, if you calculate, there are about 45 high genetic nodes at each semen station, which should be increased to from 45 to 121. So if we will have that type of thing, that only can get to the field performance recording and mating, only then we can achieve this. But this is a huge target, and the house need to see or need to discuss how we can achieve this target. Other is genomic selection of animals. One thing is genomic selection of the bulls at all these semen stations should be regularized. It should be mandatory in the minimum standard protocols. That is for the males. And in the female category, we need to strengthen more OPU, IVF. That will need more infrastructure, more manpower, and at least we need some incentives, some fellowships, some more training for the teams who are successfully doing this OPU at IVF. Then come other fixed time insemination. Our conception rate is less than 35%, and even the IA coverage is about 32%. So FTAI is another option, but the thing is how to make this applicable in the field. In the next slide we can discuss. So the thing is with our basic production systems, management system, it's not possible to apply FTI in the field at that mass level. One thing is the cost. Farmer never spends that much money on the FTI, maybe through some subsidized rates by the government can be done. Other thing is this FTI kit and pregnancy kit should be made possible to farmers from the government agencies, and if they are available, pregnancy kit and good quality pregnancy kit and subsidized waste these hormones. Now other thing is the coverage by our veterinary officers and the paravets. If you see area served by the veterinary officer paravet per square kilometer is 48.49. Each paravet or veterinary officer serves about 48.49 square kilometer. And you can see the number of livestock covered by that veterinary officer. So practically it is not possible, because it is not possible, the facilities are not available, so we are not able to do all these things, AI and all the health services. What we suggest is that our target 30 square kilometer in the plains and the semi-hill areas per veterinary officer or big paravet. And based on these calculations, there is shortage of about 42,000 veterinary officers if we want to implement this at the national level. So, considering this scenario, it is not possible to provide the regular services, which is almost impossible. And the other thing is, we need some specialist cadre, like for the semen stations, for the RDDS, some specialist cadre so that the persons who are deputed there, they are not transferred to the other places. So that hampers a lot of the issues in the semen stations or other things labs when they are working smoothly. So this is one of the major issues. Non-viability of dairy farms hampers genetic improvement. If you see the red area, that is 68% of the bovines on the left side, they are small and medium dairy farmers, about 3 to 10 animals. And you see it on the right side, same number is about the milk production. But about 68%, they provide about 62% of the milk. We large on the 23, which is in the green, we can work on that by providing, already they are doing, but we can concentrate on them by providing more AI services, more this OPU, IVF, all the policies can be implemented there. But the thing is, we need to decrease this 68%. Because all these FTI, OPU, all these things, they are not practically feasible on the farmer's household where there are only 3, 4, 5 animals. It's not possible. At least in the green area, minimum starting with the 10 animals, we will be able to do all these improved genetics, good breeds, AI, and all these ARTs will be possible if we try to decrease this 68%. So the idea is the government should not give any subsidy to any policies which help the farmer with less than 10 animals. Investment in the dairy sector. If you see the blue line at the below, livestock sector is allocated only about 0.14% of the total budget allocation. And still the contribution of our sector is about 9 to 10%. With 0.14, we are contributing to the GDP for about 9 to 10%. So because we are not having budget allocation, we are not having investment, that's why we are not able to improve, so you can say, infrastructure or have more manpower or do more things. Investment needs in sex semen production, high genetic merit bulls, number of bulls we require, that will need a lot of manpower and a lot of capacity building. Ultrasound is a big factor. Ultrasound should not be in the act, in the PNPD act. Should be different strategies should be made for the veterinary officers, AI training to the large farmers, mobility and availability of veterinary officers. Mobile clinics can be provided, but the other thing is availability only will be possible if we have sufficient manpower. Then we can give repetitive training, inseminations, and all these good human stations, testing, that should be with the state agriculture university also, and not only with the RDDM. So at the end, pure reproductive efficiency, which basically causes direct and indirect losses to farmers, as well as hampers the genetic improvement. So this pure reproductive efficiency is related to the AI coverage, the availability of manpower, so all genetic selection, so all these things will be affected, and the reproduction will also be affected. All these things are just correlated. It's not that reproduction is only N-stress and repeat breeding. there are other issues which we have to sort out. And this policy, livestock advisory for implementation of strict breeding policy, we need production and supply of good or merit rules. And other thing is we can reduce sperm concentration per age star from 20 million to say 50 million. That will not affect conception, but that will increase the production capacity by 25%. And again, this FDI possible at field level, we can try at some subsidy and exempt veterinary traffic from ECT and APA. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. SPS Mumanzi, for a brief and very conclusive presentation. And the issues that are flagged and the strategic points that need to be taken up to address those issues has been well narrated. You made a mention with reference to the strict implementation of the breeding policy. It is already taken up by the Government of India, and every state has developed their own breeding policies, and it is being enacted for that. But nevertheless, as you suggested, there should be some apex body which can regulate whether the breeding policies are being implemented in the proper way or not. And fixed time insemination, that is also being tried, but because of the small holding capacity, it becomes a problem. But larger herds, you can go for the estrus synchronization and the fixed time breeding, that can be taken up. And model farms, I have my own reservations how these model farms are going to help in boosting up the reproduction. So that you can explain a little later. And the dairy sector investment, compared to the earlier years, in the recent past, the investment has been improved considerably. But it is not totally satisfactory, but compared to the earlier allocations, there is an improvement with reference to the allocation to this particular sector. But considering the contribution to the GDP, the sectorial allocations still need to be further improved to develop the infrastructure in the animal husbandry sector. And then you also mentioned with reference to the assisted reproductive technologies, and that is the better way of addressing and to enhance the production in our existing system or the existing herd. So that kind of activities are already initiated by the Government of India as well as the state governments, and we are seeing little bit of improvement. And genomic selection, since morning we were discussing about the genomic selection. So genomic selection was a faraway dream in the earlier years. We were focusing on the PT and PS, but they are the very practical applications to know the genetic merit at the very early age. But combining those merits are based on the performance recording and other aspects. The genomic selection introduction is a good way of bringing the faster improvement and identifying the genetic merits so as to boost up the production. So these are some of the points very well summarized by you, and I congratulate you for this nice presentation. So may I seek some clarifications from the audience to the speaker on the topic that has been presented over here.
Having semen sale across the state, so that, and even the bulls, they have to be registered. So this bovine breeding act is about that. So it is not breeding policy.
Policy is different.
Yeah, policy is different.
Yes. Bovine breeding act, I think Punjab was the first state.
Punjab has already passed it from the assembly, and its rules are yet to be notified. And that's delaying. That's delayed by, I think, 4 years, more than 4 years now. It was passed in 2016.
Yeah.
And it is 7 years already. So 4 years ago, its rules were also ready.
Thank you, sir. It is very precise and informative information. One thing I want to say that when we are talking about the increasing the productivity, always we are thinking about the female aspect at for conception rate and other things. But one thing that we are seeing, the semen station that they are selling the semen, they are not taking care of the vaccination stress. What we have observed that when we are giving the vaccine up to 60 days, at least 40 to 50 days and maximum 60 days, these semen are not getting that proper fertility and they are aging. So that policy should be taken care that after vaccination, if we are giving 3 times or 2 times vaccination in a year, so that time semen should not be, if collected also, it should not be distributed to the farmers. And second point, when we are talking about the deficiency in the semen doses, so what we have observed, when we have reduced the dose up to from 20 to up to 8 million, 10 million it is verified, and up to 8 million also it is showing very good result, means fertility is not getting affected. So now we should think of developing policy in this regard, so that our productivity can be increased and we can achieve our target. Thank you.
Concentration can definitely be done, but only thing is the efficiency of doing the AI. That was actually, it was, in the recent, in the past, it was not up to the mark, but now there is a lot of improvement that has been brought with reference to the efficiency of the AI technician. So now we can take a call of reducing the concentration. There are no other additions to the presentation. I thank Dr. Ghuman for his presentation and request my colleague Dr. Prakash to offer his comments.
Thank you, Dr. Hanapada. Certainly, to propagate a superior germplasm and to produce milk, the animal needs to reproduce. But as Dr. Ghuman has said that only 32% is the coverage of artificial insemination in the country, and less than 35% conception rates. So perhaps because there are so many factors which are affecting the conception rates, the reproduction of the animal. And from policy point of view, he has given so many points, very good points, which should be included right from implementation of the act to quality of the inseminator, quality of our semen banks, and other few very important points which we should include in the our policy, which have been discussed with this house. Thank you.